Hey everyone, welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at something that I think is probably on a lot of people's minds right now.
Absolutely.
Boosting your chances of getting into either a SUNY or a CUNY school.
That's right.
And this is something that's relevant no matter where you are in that process. So whether you are a freshman in high school, just starting to think about this, or you're a senior in high school working on applications,
Absolutely.
you're going to learn a lot of really interesting stuff today.
Yeah, we've got some really fascinating sources lined up. Admissions, data, financial aid programs, even some tools that folks might not be familiar with.
Yeah, and you might be surprised to learn that getting into some of these really competitive SUNY programs, particularly the EOP programs, can sometimes be easier based purely on GPA than general admissions.
That's right. And we're going to unpack the why behind that in just a little bit, but I think listeners are going to find it really, really interesting.
Yeah, so let's jump right in. So we're going to start by looking at SUNY, which is a system with a whopping 64 campuses.
Oh my.
I mean, that's a lot of options.
Yeah.
So many
A
options.
lot of choices.
And to help us navigate this, we have this great document called Admission Information Summary Sheets.
This is going to be our decoder ring for SUNY admissions data.
Yes.
It breaks down some of the key admission statistics for each of those campuses.
Yes, and we're going to find that it's broken down into different admissions categories. So
Yeah.
you've got regular admissions, honors admissions, and EOP admissions.
Yeah.
And it also gives you the middle 50% SAT and ACT score ranges, as well as GPA.
Right.
So this particular data is from 2020, and it reflects freshman enrollment for fall 2024, but it gives us a really good benchmark to work with.
Right. It's a good sneak peek behind the curtain to see what it takes to get into some of these schools.
Exactly. Okay, so let's make this real for a second. So let's say you're interested in SUNY Albany. For regular admissions, the middle 50% GPA range was 89 to 95.
That's pretty competitive.
That's competitive. That's high.
Yes.
And then when you look at EOP admissions for SUNY Albany, the GPA range is 83 to 89.
Wow, so lower.
Lower, so that means someone could potentially get into SUNY Albany through the EOP program with a lower GPA than they might need for regular admissions.
Exactly, and that's because EOP admissions are looking at different factors beyond just grades. It's really about understanding the student's potential in the context of their background and the opportunities they've had access to.
Right. So it's not about like lowering standards or anything like that. It's just about recognizing that GPA might not be the full picture
Absolutely.
of a student.
It doesn't tell the whole story.
Got it. Okay, so now let's jump over to CUNY, which uses a slightly different approach.
Okay.
We have their admissions profile for fall 2024 freshmen, and they focus on what they call the general admission high school average
Okay.
and the SEEK college discovery high school average.
Got it.
And so SEEK is basically CUNY's version of SUNY's EOP.
Yes, supporting students from historically underrepresented backgrounds.
Exactly. Same concept, different name. So for example, let's say you're thinking about Baruch College, which is a pretty popular choice for a lot of people interested in finance.
Right.
Their average high school GPA for general admissions was a 93.
Wow.
I know that is incredibly high.
That's tough.
That's really hard to get.
Yeah.
So what about the SEEK average?
The SEEK average was an 83.5, significantly lower.
So again, we're seeing that difference.
Huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it seems like these EOP SEEK programs really can be game changers.
Absolutely. They provide an alternative pathway to higher education, recognizing that talent and potential exists in every single zip code.
I love that. So we've seen how these EOP SEEK admissions can differ from regular admissions at both SUNY and CUNY, but what exactly are these programs and how do they actually work? I think we need to take a little bit of a deeper dive into that.
Let's do it. Understanding these programs can open up a world of possibilities
Absolutely.
for students.
Okay, so we're going to jump into that in just a minute, but first we're going to take a quick break.
All right, so welcome back to our deep dive into SUNY and CUNY admissions. And we just learned that these EOP and SEEK programs can really open up a lot of doors for students who might not have that, perfect GPA.
Right, it really levels the playing field.
So that being said, what exactly are these programs?
Yeah, that's a great question. Folks are probably listening thinking, okay, this sounds amazing, but what actually are these programs? So imagine a program that looks at your grades, of course, but also factors in things like your family's income,
Okay.
whether you're the first in your family to go to college, or even if your high school didn't have the same resources as a school in a more affluent neighborhood.
So it's like they're saying, hey, we get it. Life isn't a perfect level playing field,
Right.
so we're going to look at everything.
Exactly. EOP and SEEK are there to support students who have faced those barriers to education. And they recognize that potential doesn't always show up on a report card. Gotcha. So how do they actually work, though? Like, are there specific requirements that you have to meet?
Absolutely. Both SUNY and CUNY have eligibility requirements for EOP and SEEK, both academic and financial. Remember those income thresholds we saw in the SUNY document?
Yeah, for a family of 4, the income had to be below $57,720 to be eligible. And it went up, I think, with the size of the family?
Exactly. It's all about making college affordable and accessible.
Okay.
But remember, EOP and SEEK are also looking for students who are academically prepared for college. They want to see that you've challenged yourself and that you have the potential to succeed at that level.
So it's like a two-pronged approach. You need to show both the financial need and the academic potential.
Precisely. Think of it like this. EOP and SEEK are saying, we believe in you, we're here to help you succeed. But you have to show them that you're ready to put in the work, too.
Okay, so let's say a student meets all those requirements. Do they have like a guaranteed spot in the program?
It's not quite a guarantee. These programs have limited funding and space.
Right.
So it's still a competitive process.
So you still have to bring your A game.
Right. But it's a different kind of competition. The admissions committees for EOP and SEEK are looking for students who have overcome obstacles, students who have demonstrated resilience and a hunger for knowledge.
So they're looking for grit.
Yes, exactly. That grit, the determination to succeed.
I love that. Okay, so what happens if you actually get accepted into one of these programs?
Well, the great thing about EOP and SEEK is that the support doesn't stop once you're in. You get ongoing support throughout your entire college journey.
Wow, what kind of support are we talking about here?
We're talking academic advising, tutoring, mentoring, even financial assistance with things like tuition books and even living expenses.
That's amazing. It's like a built-in support system.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Like having a team of people in your corner cheering you on and helping you navigate all the ups and downs of college.
I'm starting to see why these programs are so transformative for a lot of students. It's not just about getting EN to college. It's about having the support to really thrive once you're there.
Right, that's the heart of it. EOP and SEEK create this pathway to success that might not have existed otherwise.
I love that. Okay, so now we've got the inside scoop on EOP and SEEK. Let's talk about Good Vibes UNI, that website that claims to help students graduate debt-free.
I'm glad you brought that up. College affordability is a huge concern for a lot of families these days. And while their mission sounds great, I think it's important to approach any organization that makes those kinds of claims with a healthy dose of skepticism.
Right, you can't just take their word for it. So what kind of questions should students be asking to make sure that a service like this is legit?
I would say first and foremost, look beyond those flashy slogans and promises. Dig into the specifics of what they offer. How do they measure their success rate? What kind of track record do they actually have in helping students graduate debt-free?
So basically, don't be afraid to ask the tough questions.
Absolutely. And I'd recommend, looking for testimonials from other students. Hear it straight from the source and compare their pricing with other college advising services out there. Because some of these services can get really, really expensive.
Right, it's an investment, but you want to make sure you're getting your money's worth.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, remember that no external resource, no matter how great it is, can replace your own effort and initiative.
So even with the best guidance, students still need to be, actively involved in their own college search and application process.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You are in the driver's seat. Nobody can want it for you more than you want it for yourself.
Right. Welcome back to the show. We've talked a lot about the numbers, GPA test scores, finances.
Oh, right.
But what about all that other stuff that goes into a college application?
Yeah.
Essays, recommendations, extracurricular activities, all of that. How much does that actually matter?
That's where the personality comes in.
Yeah.
That's where the passions come in. Because remember, a college application is not just a bunch of numbers. It's really an opportunity to tell your story.
Oh, so it's story time.
It is story time.
But seriously, though, how do you make your application actually stand out when colleges are looking at literally thousands of these things?
Think about it this way. You're not trying to get into any college. You're trying to find the right college for you.
Right.
And so your application should reflect that.
Okay, so it's all about showing them who you really are, not who you think they want you to be.
Exactly. And that starts with those essays. I know that word essay can make even the most confident student break out in a cold sweat. But think of it this way. Essays are your chance to connect with that admissions committee on a human level.
Okay, so how do you write an essay that's actually going to grab their attention and not just sound like every other essay they've read.
Throw out the thesaurus.
Mhm.
Forget about trying to sound super impressive
Okay.
and using all those fancy vocabulary words. The best essays are authentic. They're genuine. Write about something that really matters to you.
Okay, so let's say I'm really passionate about collecting vintage video games.
I love it.
Could that be essay material?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you can connect that passion to your goals and to who you are as a person, that's a winning essay.
Yeah.
Because admissions committees, they can spot a generic essay a mile away.
Right.
They're looking for those real voices, those real stories.
So no hacks, no shortcuts for writing a good essay. It's really just about being you.
It really is. It
Yeah.
takes time and effort to craft a compelling essay.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to go through multiple drafts, ask for feedback, and really polish that story.
Got it. What about recommendations, extracurricular activities, even social media? Do colleges really care about that stuff?
Think of it like this. Your GPA, your test scores show your academic ability, but all of that other stuff shows your character, it shows your initiative, and what makes you tick outside of the classroom.
Okay, so they want well-rounded humans, not just study robots.
Exactly. They're looking for students who will contribute to that campus community, who are passionate about something, and who have the drive to actually make a difference.
Okay, so let's say I spend a lot of time volunteering at the local animal shelter. Should I highlight that?
Absolutely. It shows compassion.
Yeah.
It shows responsibility. It shows commitment.
Gotcha. So extracurriculars, volunteering, even just a part-time job, all of that is valuable.
All valuable.
Yeah.
And, what about social media?
Oh, yeah.
Colleges are definitely checking that out these days.
Mm-hmm.
So be mindful of your online presence.
Right.
Think of it as an extension of your application.
Uh-huh.
You want to present yourself in a positive and authentic light.
Yeah, maybe lay off the complaining about homework online.
Probably a good idea.
Okay, so we've gone from deciphering admissions data to writing these compelling essays.
I know, right?
It feels like we've really explored every single part of the college admissions process.
We have. It's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
I know. But remember, this is your journey. Take charge. Be proactive. And don't be afraid to ask for help along the way.
I love that. So for anyone listening out there, do your research, use these resources that we talked about, but most importantly, be authentically you.
Your college experience is what you make it. So embrace the challenges, learn from this whole process, and never underestimate your own potential.
That's a perfect note to end on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of SUNY and CUNY admissions. We'll be back soon with another fascinating topic. Until then, happy learning.